Wasn't that a heart attack special? Not many people thought it was going to be this tight of a game, except I was one of the few, yours truly, you followed my lead up. I knew this would be a tough game. I thought it was going to be 24-17, ended up 20-13 with a real wild ending. So here we are. I got a little different format because I want to get this stuff out quicker. I'm going to do this type of format post game. I'm going to do one for the Dolphins versus the Raiders and the Bills versus the Jets, and do my normal format at the end of the day to round up the AFC East and the AFC, because a lot of stuff is going to happen by the end of today. Dolphins are 7-3. I don't care that it was an ugly game for the most part. We beat a tough team, like I said. And 7-3, short week to the Jets. This game coming up on Black Friday is going to be a critical game. But you're seeing something that I have been saying that not many have been saying, is that if you got a really good defense and not such a great offense, you can make this a game and possibly take it over the top, because there are some failings with this Dolphins team. But the great news is the final form of Teron, Connor, and Hunt isn't here. It's going to change stuff. I was going through the Twitterverse now when I watched the game. I don't think there's some really bad coverage, guys. And I don't usually do that. I try to play the middle road. I support a lot of people, whether they're right or wrong. Say, hey, but there is some bad stuff. I'm going to get into that towards the end of this thing. I want to talk about, the positives of the Dolphins, what happened today. And it wasn't pretty. And there's some negatives attached to that underneath. Clearly, Achane getting injured is a big, big disaster. Hopefully he's all right. He's going to play a big part for us. But there's more than that. So I'm going to cover the game and what it means for the future of the Dolphins. But there's a lot of good stuff coming out of this game. Now, yes, we had the bye week. We were at home, and you don't want to be this sloppy. Tua did not have a great game, but there's stuff that goes underneath that. You hear over and over, so this guy, he didn't give up any pressure today. He played awesome. And it's like they have no concept of context. I said this game was going to be a lot like the Patriots game. And you look at week one, they played a very similar format to the Patriots. They played over zone coverage. I thought they were going to play man, but they decided to play that over zone coverage. We were getting the ball out at 1.91 seconds at an early portion. You can see even the announcers, who weren't the best in the world, so you can't even get to guys at this speed. And it probably went up a little bit, but this defense was on its heels from the open and played over, and that caused some kind of problems because they were still able to force us to do things we don't want to do. But that will change once Hunt and Connor are there with Teron. Eichenberg didn't have a good day. You're going to say, Jackson, I heard an announcer say Jackson had a great block on that play. There's another guy blocking him. He was behind him. Eichenberg, I heard somebody else say Eichenberg had a great play. It was Connor. Not to say Jackson had a terrible day. I'll get into that. I'll get into it right now. I had this, man. I have so much respect, or had-ish, on Omar Kelly for a long time, because he played a role that was very difficult, to be a contrarian, tell people maybe the things they don't want to hear. Y'all going to put some respect on Austin Jackson's name? Oh, man, that is such a bad take. And it really concerns me, because this is a guy I highly respect, and he claims to know the offensive line. Well, one of the last plays of the game, he was finally beaten because he had one-on-one with Max Crosby, but his run blocking was terrible through the day, but he wasn't terrible. But how do you come out with that kind of results when you're getting the ball out at 1.91 to maybe 0.1, and you're playing over zone coverage? This is why we had problems today. But Hill, Mostert, even Tua, though there was some problems, he missed a couple. He had to fumble. He had to pick. But he made some plays. But it wasn't easy for him because we couldn't generate the type of run yards to break this kind of coverage. Now, I didn't like McDaniel on that 4th and 1 where he throws a screen to Hill. But you got to give the guy credit. He stuck with the run. I said, certain teams, you need to have many runs and production, and other teams, you just need lots of runs to keep them honest and to move the game forward. And he kept calling the run game, even though it wasn't easy sledding. Mostert, 22 for 87, 4-0. But you also have to remember, we had 65 plays to their 50. 21 first downs to 9. This defense looked one way and it got gassed towards the end. And all that comes into play when you evaluate our offensive line production. But McDaniel, for some of his fans, I keep hearing people say, oh, he's not committed to the run. He's not sticking to, he was sticking to the run. He did a great job in that one area. There were some problems. But he's hamstrung by this offensive line. I said at the beginning of the year, the offensive line is going to create what we can do. And they haven't killed us. This defense playing as awesome as it has. Ramsey, 2 picks, 1 to end the game. Phillips, Phillips, he had, what did he have over here? 1.5 sacks and 3 hits. Wilkins, 1 tackle for loss and 1 hit and a lot of critical pressures. Chubb, 5 stops. He played excellent, but he had a Humidor on him who's not a top guy. They didn't have Miller, and that could have changed some things too. But this defense played exceptional considering there were so many turnovers. Early on, though, we played good football, not causing penalties. They were shooting themselves in the foot, but we were turning the ball over. But we held our water against a very, very physical and very tough team, considering what we had on this offensive line. It's clear, and you're going to see it more clearly. And all these pie in the sky guys like Omar Kelly, who I like, I'm not trying to bash him, but he's purposely putting stuff out there that's non-Omar Kelly and to bolster certain parts that aren't really good football observations. If he had such a great day and Tehran had a great day, then why weren't we able to go vertical? We kept guys in. We got rid of the ball quick. We couldn't hold on to it long enough. It sucked that Achane went down, but Mostert filled that role, and Achane came back. And it looks like it's not a long-term thing. But you add Hunt into this unit, even with Jackson kind of struggling at times in the run game and occasionally when he's one-on-one in the blocking, and it's going to open a lot of other stuff up. But we also have to be honest. O'Connell's not a great quarterback. They had great talent, a pretty good offensive line, although that left tackle is a major issue. When we face these better offenses with better defenses, it is going to be very, very curious. But you got to be happy. 7-3, short week. If we can get over this short week and then you get that 10-day rest, things could be looking real good, but you still got to hold your eye on that Dallas, Baltimore, and then finally the Bills game. How the Bills play today, how Brady calls is going to say a lot. But you've got to be happy because we won sloppy. But we cannot continue to be this sloppy. Cannot have this offensive line production you saw today. And yes, he only had a couple of sacks or pressures because we got the ball out so fast. How many more times do I got to say it? And I'm getting frustrated because it's bad information. People are going to get surprised like they got surprised today. McDaniel, Tua, Hill, they overcame this offensive line issue. The offensive line did not propel this offense. And you have to keep your eye on it, or you're going to start making bad evaluations. And then you're like, Tua sucks, McDaniel sucks. They had mistakes, but it starts with this offensive line. And if the Raiders had a better secondary, because they lost some guys, they lost Epps early and could play man coverage and get that clock up, what kind of pressure do you think we'll see? I don't know. We'll find out. But this was an excellent, excellent, excellent win because this was a team that was hungry. This was a defense that was well coached. It's like beating the Patriots. Now, the Patriots are below us, but this is a win that you got to get, you should get, and however sloppy it was, we pulled it out. Now, turnovers. is a thing we've got. Tua's got to control these turnovers. And the penalties started getting sloppy in the back end. But early on, as I said, we held our water, and that is great, great news. There's a lot more to get into this, but some of the stuff we saw today was very good and portable for the future. Some of the stuff's got to get cleaned up. Got to get cleaned up. And then some of the stuff we still got to see more matchups to get a better evaluation. That's going to start this Friday. I am praying Hunt is available this Friday because the Jets are going to play man. They're going to get up on you. They're going to have guys that are rushing, and that clock is going to get into the 2-3-5, 2-4-5, and 2-5-5. And then we'll see if we hear all this talk for Jackson. And again, it's not the get down on Jackson. It's fairly evaluating. Again, I told you this would be a close game. How many people told you it wasn't? Jackson can do enough, and he will grow. Hill, Waddle, McDaniel, and Tua are supporting most of this line. But again, Hunt will change this a lot, and I do believe Jackson can be enough going forward. But please stop the hyperbole. This is how you're going to get confusion. We're going to win 45-3. No. Anyway, guys, be proud of this victory. People are going to focus on McDaniel. No, he was working around some real issues on the offense line. Going to get down on Tua. All right, yeah, he can't throw that pick. That was a terrible pick. And then he had the fumble. Can't have either one of those. And there was almost another pick over there. But within that, what they had to do, Tua, I thought, did some good stuff. And Hill is unbelievable. Hope the hands are right. All right, guys, I'm going to come back to you with honest coverage and accurate coverage. Not always accurate, but more accurate than not. So 7-3, the short week with the Jets. Do not think because they have a poor offense that we are going to blow them out. You saw here today what the formula is. There's two formulas: over zone coverage and let this team kind of make it some mistakes, and then play man coverage and then get after them with the 4 and let that time to throw get up there and don't make any mistakes with Hill. These are the two things that the tape is saying how to slow this team down. Let's see if we break it. Great win. Curtis saying, catch you next time. Be well. I have on the cup. Go Fins!